Welcome back, everyone, once again, as Friends and Family Month continues on Screenplay Rewind. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
How's it been going, dude? This is a record, what, 10 days or so in between recordings?
Something like that.
Pretty good
How's
for
it
us.
going? I messed up my intros and I introduced myself as Ron 2 and I forgot.
Yeah, you fucked up.
I fucked up. We should take it from the top.
We're going to go another time?
Yeah, we're going to go another time.
Yeah. Are you recovered from another time, by the way? Because I don't know if I can ever fully enjoy a film again. I think I'm just traumatized.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I need like a Cal to talk to, to just really, get some bro therapy going. Just hanging out with Cal, shooting the shit.
Cal's great, but he's still no Ziggy.
It's true. Is anybody truly on that level? I don't think so.
Not in this time. Not in this universe.
How's it been going to you, man?
Oh, tired. Freaking out a little bit. Got work coming up on Monday for the first time in 8 years.
Wow. How is the concept of that as far as are you excited to get back to work? Are you dreading it? What's the thought process after that long of a time?
A little bit of a mix. I'm the type of person, I was talking to Chris about this earlier. I'm the kind of person that it's when I'm walking in the door, it's gonna hit me. Until then, they can always call me and say never mind. So I don't know. I
You're
don't
just expecting the worst.
Yeah, I don't really get hyped about stuff that much anymore like I used to. So it's gonna hit me when I start walking in the door. I'm gonna have a full blown panic attack probably. But yeah, no, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. There's no need for me to be here anymore. Kids are in school and Chris is at work and we don't have a dog anymore. So I'm just kind of here waiting for someone to need me. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be good for you to have more of a set routine.
Yeah, I mean more of a set routine, forced interaction with people.
Well, that's not good for anybody.
Get me out of the house and moving and doing things. My prediction is I've been struggling with weight loss. Because I haven't lost any. I've been gaining. My prediction is I'm going to lose quite a bit of weight in the first year of working again, probably.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Just you don't realize how many calories you burn, just doing your daily routine as far as getting ready for work, going to work, and
not standing in the kitchen washing dishes, not walking past a pantry, not sitting in the same room as a fridge watching TV or playing video games. Or
you have to go out of your way to go obtain food.
And even then, I can only do it in the time slot that I'm allowed. So, it's going to limit me quite a bit. And then when I get home, my prediction for the first few months is I'm going straight to bed probably as soon as the kids do, would be my guess.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a big change. My interview process is probably the part of the reason why it took me so long to get a job. I realized being almost 40 and having gone through the interview process a lot that I just don't have time for the fake it till you make it bullshit. Let's lie to each other until someone decides to hire me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bleak, man.
Yeah.
When you can tell people are...
So
I mean, everyone does it to an extent, but when people are really overdoing it, it's pretty painful.
Yeah, so I went in to every interview and I was literally just me. I didn't... When they were what's your experience with this? I have some, I can always learn, blah, blah, blah. I didn't sit there and just be oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm totally not going to Google that when I get to the car.
What's your greatest weakness? I'm pretty bad at Dark Souls 2. I just can never I just can never figure out the flow of the mechanics, man. You feel me?
Yeah, I got asked questions like that. I got asked questions that were it was what do you think your first impression of yourself would be, or something like that in one of the interviews? I literally stared at the guy for a minute. This is an interview. It was me, him, and two other women sitting there. That worked there. One of them was going to be my boss. One was the branch manager of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy was, I don't know, I guess HR or something. And I literally just stared at him. And it was just dead silent in the room for a few painful seconds. And then I was like, I'm sorry. My first impression of myself, like if I met myself? And he was like, yeah. Like that was a normal question.
Like it doesn't understand how
He doesn't understand what I'm confused about.
It's so obtuse
and
it makes it meaningless.
I literally said, I don't know. I've never met myself. And the other two women burst out laughing. And he just sat there and stared at me. And I was like, don't get me wrong. I own a mirror, but I don't talk to it. I was like, I don't know. I guess I was like, what you're really asking is, what do I think of myself? It's more of an introspective, philosophical question. Like, I think what you're really asking is this, this, and this. And he was like, yep, you nailed it, like all annoyed. And they're just laughing. Like the two of them are laughing as if like, I've told you before, this is a stupid question kind of laugh.
Yeah.
And
you know, like when he came up with that interview question, he probably thought he was like so smart.
Yeah.
And so like deep with his interview question idea.
I literally was just like, I'm sorry, what? I literally said to his face, don't get me wrong, I own a mirror, but I don't talk to it. Like,
you're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole.
Exactly. And they were just cackling, laughing.
That's really funny.
Like I fucking told you to stop asking this question kind of laugh. They loved me. I'm pretty sure he's the reason I didn't get the job.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
But I got
voted your ass off the island, dude.
Yeah, I got asked some weird questions. That was the weirdest one. But
it feels like it's even worse now because people have just access to stupid fucking articles about interview questions online.
What it
just
seems
nonsense.
Like, it seems like he asked Copilot to write interview questions for him, right? Yeah, I don't know. I had a college professor. I had a college professor once say that in an interview, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. And for some reason, this time around, I was just kind of like, yeah, I am. Because if I go in there and I'm just me and they don't hire me, we probably didn't want to work together. You know, like we probably would have both been miserable together.
Yeah, at the very least, you're not burying the lead.
Yeah. So I just did that, and I would, like, on the car on the drive home, I would think about the questions they asked me, their demeanor when they asked them and stuff. And some of them, I was just like, you know, if they call, I don't think I want to work there. Most of my interactions were pretty positive. I think what was killing me was the 8-year gap in my resume of no experience.
But it's also kind of, I don't know, like you have a good reason, like, you know, you were a stay-at-home dad, and also it's not like you were transitioning to a completely different field because you're mostly applying to shit you had done in the past.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, the probably, you know, like softwares and shit have changed since you last did it, but like how much has really changed in the field of, like, you know, bank teller shit? Probably not much at all.
I had this one lady, the job I ended up taking, actually. She suggested a lower pay than what I wanted, and we talked about it. But her thing was that my starting pay was, I have the 8-year gap. They're going to have to bring me up to speed on, like, I've never worked for that company, so I need to know the company policies. I need to be retrained in the job, which, sure. But one of her things that she cited was regulations have changed. 8 years, government regulations have changed so much that I don't know what they are anymore. This is the government. It takes them 30 years to do anything. I guarantee you the regulations are exactly the same as when I left.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. It was just an excuse to give me less pay than what I wanted.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
But I can't argue with the hours or the location though, so I took it.
Yeah. Well,
It's like 15 minutes from my house, and it is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. No weekends.
yeah. You're pretty much be on the same schedule as me, except I work 8:30 to 5:30.
It's 8:15 to 5:15, but
Yeah.
the building that they're in closes at like 4 or 5, so they can't be open after that, and they don't have a drive-through. For those wondering, it's a bank. When I say they don't have a drive-through, I didn't apply to Taco Bell and have all these standards going in. Yeah, we forgot to mention what it was.
Well, I said bank teller stuff, so people can get it.
I think you just said a field I had worked before. I don't think you said what it was.
No, I said and like bank teller related stuff hasn't changed that much outside of like the software, so people can figure out kind of what we're talking about.
It just hit me. I didn't hear either one of us when I said it doesn't have a drive-through. That's the part where I imagine people will be like, "Huh?"
So, what is your first impression of yourself holding a chalupa? Like, what are you talking about here?
Oh God, how have you been?
It's been a struggle for me. I finally was able to kind of get my seasonal allergies under control by taking literally all the medication in the universe I could possibly get my hands on.
I got my Kenalog shot today. I'm so excited. My allergies just disappear for about 3 months once I take one of those.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, outside of that,
it has been windy. It has been changing between hot and cold, wet and dry.
It's fucking miserable.
It's been fucking miserable, and it's been wreaking havoc on everybody's sinuses around here. So it's got poor Nathan, my son, it's got him in a pretty bad way. Like, he sounds like he's losing his voice. He's not. He's just choked up, and he can't really shake it. He's not sick or anything. He just sounds like he can't breathe.
It just fucking sucks when just existing is a fucking painful thing. Like, because there's medications you can take, and outside of like taking a steroid thing that just turns off your allergy. Which, by the way, like, just the simple fact that steroids can just make your allergies be. Why can't we make that like a regular thing so people don't have to deal with the shit?
There's got to be some way to take that benefit and get rid of the negative side effects of taking that. There's got to be some way to isolate what part of the steroid is doing that and make it safer for everyday consumption.
Well, it's probably the same fucking conspiracy theory as like when people say that there probably has been a cure for the common cold, but there's so much commerce that happens because like how much money like it is regulated because of fucking allergy medication and cold and flu medication. So like it wouldn't surprise me if next to the cure for the common cold is the cure for seasonal allergies, but because it doesn't really kill anybody, we're just not gonna put that out there because we like making money. So that's one of those conspiracy theories that makes sense to me because with some of the shit we've like you're gonna tell me we cured like polio and we can't cure seasonal allergies? It's kind of bullshit.
We invented a vaccine for a disease that did not exist in less than a year of the disease coming into existence.
Yeah. When it fucking mattered.
Yeah.
But because seasonal allergies like doesn't really, it's an annoyance for like a month out of the year in total. So they're just like, let people be fucking miserable.
Not mine.
Shit. We're making money.
Mine are year round. They just get worse this time of year.
Yeah, I have to take year round like 2 months of Claritin and then 2 months of Zyrtec alternating so I don't get used to it. And then in the allergy seasons, I have to switch to include like the eye drops and the like Nasacort and shit just to survive. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I use the other one, Flonase.
Yeah.
I use it as needed. So if I wake up and I'm dying, or if I know I'm going to be mowing later, like, because mowing is the worst, especially right now when it's a mix of dead grass and live grass. Like, I'm going to be in the shower cleaning grass out of my nose and my ears. So I'll use it then. But yeah.
But you know what we could talk about instead of seasonal allergies?
Alternate realities, or the reality of the mind.
Or questions and comments. We could start off with that like we usually do.
Nah, let's do the other one.
Let's do the other one. Yeah, fuck those comments.
Oh man,
Wouldn't that be funny if we just skated right on by, just like?
Oh man.
No, but we had some comments on our previous upload, which, by the way, more people need to listen to that another time podcast, because that I am the type of person, I never plug my shit, like, because I don't want people to listen to it, and I guess there's like a little bit of like imposter syndrome, but like that was probably one of our better episodes.
Yeah.
Like, people should if you like me and Ron even a little bit, go listen to that, because it's pretty fucking funny.
I don't know what we were. We weren't mad, but we sure sounded mad, I think.
There's a state of disbelief.
Oh god. Yeah, so we had what? What did I say? 6 comments.
Yeah.
All of them on the last upload. And I never know how to start these. I usually go bottom up because that's the oldest to newest. That's usually the only way Bobby makes sense. So, starting with the Bobby. Chris is a genius. Chris is my wife. She's the one that picked Another Time.
My wife.
Chris is a genius. She got Twilight in without a Twilight movie. Respect.
Slow clap.
Then
Well done.
this douchebag Gmail47, whoever the fuck this guy is,
Fuck that guy.
says it was very well played. And then she actually replies,
That was me that was me, by the way. If people haven't looked at the comments, because you didn't fully specify that it was me. It just sounded like you just called somebody out for being an asshole. It's just like, that was me. Just to be clear.
I was calling someone out for being an asshole, Jeff. I was.
Yeah.
But I wish I could say I'd planned it. I got really excited when we were watching it when I realized. Because she did watch this movie again with me. Why, I don't know, but she did.
Just to watch you be miserable. That's like the best thing. Is like
but
getting the
I wasn't really. There wasn't anything to be miserable about.
excuse me. You heard the Star Wars versus Star Trek conversation. That was pretty fucking miserable to me, man.
That was pretty miserable. That was pretty bleak. Then Bobby says he's plotting his pick as he listens. Mwahaha. I added that last part. I just imagine him rubbing his hands together as he types. I don't know what he's typing with. His dick, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah.
Then we talked about like what the sequel would be or something, and I guess he's responding to that. Another Time 2, a quest for more money. I can't imagine this made any money the first time.
Yeah. Another Time 2, the quest for some money.
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was going to say, the quest for some money. And then our final comment from my lovely wife. I originally watched this because I was on a kick of watching crappy romance movies, and Prime suggested it, and I saw Justin Hartley and was like, why not? Which is what I would say if I saw Justin Hartley. Had no idea it was a time-traveling movie. Boy, was I shocked.
Yeah.
The whole movie I was saying, what? The whole time. And I wanted to share the experience with you both.
It's also, at the same time, not really a time travel movie, because it only actually has about 7 minutes of time travel shit happening. It's mostly...
And that 7 minutes is generous.
It's mostly just people talking in a shed in Arizona, and that's like the extent of that movie.
Yes. Yes, it is. Talking in a shed in Arizona. Now I want to write a movie called Shed in Arizona. Oh, Jesus. Sadly, no held comments.
Did I tell you? I don't think I told you. When I was, I don't know if you ever have this happen to you. You'll be doing something
Does
like
this
non-related.
ever happen to you? There has to be a better way.
You know what really grinds my gears? No, have you ever been like just doing something completely unrelated, and then your brain will like correct a movie that you thought was dumb or something like a week or a month later, when you're not even actively thinking about it? Your brain just like fixes something. I don't know if it's just me, but or
like rewrites a portion of it all of a sudden, like something just comes to you.
Yeah. Yeah, so like someone will just randomly come to you like
Because I've
this is
had
what could have happened.
movies when my brain auto-corrected where I go back and watch it again like, oh, that's not what I thought happened. I thought this happened because that's a better movie.
That's a better movie. Yeah. To make Another Time work.
That's the sequel. Another Time work.
All you have to do is make the secondary love interest the scientist.
It's true.
Because that is, you don't have to
instantly
segue.
a better movie.
You don't have to like fucking segue to a random lady at a fucking bar or a random lady at a fucking convenience store.
Random lady.
It fits in with the theme of you were so preoccupied with like this other thing that you didn't realize what was right in front of you, and they actually would have been spending time together.
What?
He would have spent more time.
He wouldn't have kidnapped her and taken her to Alaska against her will.
Yeah, and all you had to do, and then you could have had to think, oh, and like my fucking brain like elaborated on it further. Like you could have had it to where how we were mad that the events weren't connected, that it was like coincidentally the same day.
Yeah.
Like you just say like, what if the thing was him going back to like the point in the past like ended her career, and then he actually has to finally make a choice about being selfish or not, and is he gonna tell her he's the reason for her career ending? Like, will he tell her like, yeah, this whole bullshit with me going into the other like time period is what ruined your career, because him going back in time is what blew up her lab. So at that point he actually has to make a choice, like, does he finally do something like that's not selfish by being honest with her? And it was just like, all of this shit would have been so easy to write into that movie, but they made it like as stupid as humanly possible, almost on purpose. Like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Man. Let's see.
I hear you ferociously typing in the background.
Yeah, because as you were talking, I realized Ant-Man and the Wasp did it better. Because it's also about a lab exploding due to experiment and a career ending, and a person doing a thing, and they both both of these movies came out the same year, 2018. I was trying to see if Ant-Man and the Wasp came out earlier, and then they were like, "Oh, this movie? No, take this movie and shoehorn this time travel thing into it. Put these plot elements in, because that's what it feels like. Something happened." Maybe in another time where this movie got changed.
It was just, man.
Yeah.
Another time, people, it could be taught in universities of what not to do to make a movie. I'm not even fucking kidding. Like, because it takes all of 10 minutes to make a fucking better movie that makes cohesive sense.
I love that it spilled over to another podcast.
Dude. That movie is my fucking white whale, man. I can't get away from Another Time. I can't get away from fucking Pirate Angel Prime's luscious blue eyes. Fucking Christ. Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Another Time. We're here to talk about another movie.
Yes, we are. What was it?
We're here to talk about.
Oh yes, Shutter Island.
We're covering Another Time again. Fuck it. I don't want to talk about Shutter Island. We're just gonna talk about Another Time.
Shutter Island is a good movie. Go watch it. Now back to Another Time.
Another Time. 2 hours on the clock.
Another time, a different time. Yeah.
Same shit, different time. Also, put a better name for that movie.
Okay, let's never forget. No matter how you fix that movie, though, it still boils down to one of the most selfish reasons for doing anything in a movie I've ever seen or heard.
I have to time heist a girlfriend in a different reality.
Like she's an Infinity Stone. Like, I don't understand.
We have to bring back Convenience Store Lady back to her original timeline, or else the universe is.
Oh God. Okay, we have to move on with our lives.
Where was that subplot in the Loki TV show?
Oh,
him having to fix all of the broken Justin Hartley timelines.
I swear to God, if we had a successful YouTube channel where we did skits and could get people, I would love to do a time travel thing related to that episode, where when the time travel happens, either Justin Hartley becomes Tom Hiddleston or Tom Hiddleston becomes Justin Hartley. And it's just like, what the hell? Anyway.
Man. So you want to talk about some Shudder? Oh, if you have any questions or comments,
We were so close. We were so close to getting there.
Do you have an opinion
It's
on
been
another
25
time that we
minutes.
can dive? We're just gonna continue bringing up another time every week. That's gonna
Dude,
be our
that's
ongoing segment.
That's our Patreon goal. Okay, we
That's a
will
stretch goal.
review another time every week
Well, it's not.
for a year.
I don't know if there is a dollar amount that makes that worthwhile. Like it's.
Could you
it's-
imagine that descent into
man.
madness?
I would just be sitting down to watch that movie, and then like the reality around me is just all fucking weird blue, like the ending of In the
Like
Mouth
my
of
TV.
Madness. Could you imagine watching that? Do you remember that segment in the Mouth of Madness where everything just turns blue when he's in
Yeah.
one of like the weird minds? What would that look like on
When
your
he's
old
just
TV?
on the bus and he just screams.
Would that scene just look like normal color for your old TV since it was already
I don't
blue?
think I knew the color changed.
It's just like it just magically fixes your old TV because it activates every blue in the spectrum.
No, the red universe in Everything Everywhere All at Once with the rocks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It was my TV was just purple for some reason. I couldn't figure it out.
with googly eyes.
With googly eyes. Oh god!
I gotta watch that movie again. That was a good fucking movie.
Could you imagine
Man.
if Justin Hartley showed up in the MCU as an alternate world Captain America?
I'd watch it. Guess he also tried to time heist Captain Carter when she's like a convenience store worker in a different reality.
It's- Yeah, except instead of Haley Atwell, it's the chick from Another Time, and they're in Alaska. I can't anymore.
My God. Okay, yeah, we gotta move on. I like how this Soapy's gonna be sitting down to listen to this. By the way, it is like 30 minutes of just fucking seasonal allergies and Justin Hartley. And then we just sign off and never talk about his movie.
One of these
If
days,
I was gonna do that to anybody, I would do it to Soapy.
I was gonna say, one of these days, I would love to just do an episode where we never talk about the movie, because the comments that we sometimes get from Bobby is like 30 minutes in, still haven't talked about the movie. We're almost there. We're almost there. Or we get, it's just two assholes talking about anything but the movie for 2 hours,
Why?
thumbs down. And I would love to do one episode where we just never even mention a movie.
why should anybody care about your opinion? ... Fuck.
Dude, I want if we ever do merch, I want like a hat or something that's just the ...
Yes. No, it's karma ... I love it. I love it.
God.
Okay. So for people who are turning in for the first, could you imagine if this was their first introduction to this podcast? Someone out there is going to stumble upon this, be like, these idiots are talking about some 20-year-old Justin Hartley movie and seasonal allergies for 30 minutes. How do you talk about that for 30? We found a way, man.
Dude,
found a
that sounds like a
fucking way.
nomination for the podcast awards.
Dude, sign us up. Okay?
Yeah,
Fucking do it.
Stan Lee said every comic book is someone's first comic, so every podcast is someone's first podcast.
Seasonal allergies, Excelsior. Jesus.
We're almost there. One more minute, and it's been 30 minutes.
No, I will. No matter what, we can't touch. What was that we covered a few weeks ago, where it was like we started talking about Marvel or something, and we literally almost made it an hour without talking about the movie. I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about or what we were supposed to be talking about, but it just never happened.
Was it Overlord? No.
Actually, I think it was Overlord because I was bitching about something to do. We were talking about
Because what's his name
Marvel.
is Secret Agent Man. What is he? What's his? God damn it. Wyatt Russell or whatever is
Secret Agent.
Yeah, is that it?
It's a Secret Agent. I don't fucking
I don't
remember.
fucking know.
It's a generic name, I know. Is it Secret Agent?
It's killing me. I'm not the only one. Google just auto-completed Wyatt Russell Marvel character name. U.S. Agent.
U.S. agent, thank you.
Not much
knew it was
better than
something-
secret agent.
Yeah, it's like what?
All I could think of was secret agent man, secret agent man. They've given
right.
you a number and taken away your name.
We've hit 30 minutes of my timer, so we can proceed now with the
All
actual.
right, well, thanks for
recording.
tuning in, everyone. If you'd like to like, share, and subscribe, leave a comment down below.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum.
Bam.
No, but once a year, we make the unfortunate decision of letting our friends and family pick a few movie selections for us. We have no control outside of when we rejected 4 weeks consecutive Twilight.
It's like Jesus take the
being-
wheel, but Jesus is Soapey
Yeah.
or Bobby.
And as punishment
Or
for
both.
trying to coerce everyone last year into nothing but Twilight, we talked about seasonal allergies and some other unrelated shit for 30 minutes. So good fuck, Soapy. Fucking karma ... And Soapy selected
Soapey select.
Shutter Island. Soapy selected another time.
That's a podcast I want to guest on. Soapey select.
Soapy select. And Ron, if you can vamp for a second, I'm going to pull up Soapy's reasoning for picking Shutter Island.
Shutter Island is a really good movie. I need you to vamp while I get my tab back up. Vamp for me while I vamp for you. Came out in 2010. It is rated R, which surprised me. I didn't remember anything happening, but it's very obvious why it's rated R later. I don't know. There's something about these genre tags on IMDb. Maybe it's just because they seem repetitive. I don't know. There's something about them I don't agree with. It's psychological thriller, okay. Suspense mystery, okay. That's not a genre, but sure. Drama, mystery, thriller. So 1, no Michael Jackson to be found. 2,
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. 2, it's like, I don't know, there's something that irks me. And I think, is it because they repeat? Is it because the genres just go in circles here? What is it?
I don't know.
Huh.
I have the little tidbit though. He didn't give me like a full blown like synopsis of his reasoning for it, but just basically some of his thoughts. He said, "Let's go with Shutter Island, arguably one of his favorite movies of all time." He said it was one of those movies that gets better the more you watch it, and
Yes.
he enjoys the theories about the subcontext and the way they filmed some scenes and how it ended. That's my favorite thing about this movie is the direction, as I think there's some very cool by the way, spoilers for Shutter Island. I'm sure if you've seen the trailer, I feel like the trailer, if you go back and rewatch the trailer, just blatantly spoils what's happening. But my dumb brain from 15 years ago just like either avoided the trailers or just didn't spoil it for me, because I remember the twist actually being a twist for me. Did you figure it out originally when you watched this?
So that was a question I was going to ask you. I did not.
I didn't either. And then when you go back and watch it, you feel like such a colossal idiot for not picking up on it because it's so obvious.
The first time the twist is revealed to you, you're still in the same boat as Leonardo DiCaprio in, is this actually a twist or are they fucking with me, right? And then as it continues, it's revealed like, no, that was the twist. This has been the truth the whole time. And it's kind of funny because, you know, his reality is it's a conspiracy, and it is a conspiracy.
Just not the conspiracy that he thinks it is.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is genius. And
It's pretty cool.
when you go back and watch it again, knowing the twist, it's just as good at that reveal because you're picking up on things that you feel like you should have picked up on. But in hindsight, also at the same time, they're not anything that should signal the end of the movie to you either. On their own, when you add them up as the movie goes, sure, but just little by little, like some of even the dialogue, some of the characters have, kind of give it away without giving it away. And then when you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, I get the double meaning in this now. You know, and the most confusing one is the warden, and the warden, he's not even trying to play along, is why it's confusing.
Yeah, this was actually a thing. I like certain things better about this movie knowing the twist, and parts of it actually made it a bit worse for me
Okay.
knowing the twist. Because like when I'm watching it, I love all the directorial choices as far as there's some really cool ideas behind like for instance in one of the interrogation scenes when it's DiCaprio talking to the one patient who writes down run in his little journal thing, the way that they're cutting back and showing coverage of the actors, the lady and DiCaprio have a guard behind them, and fucking oh god, I'm blanking out his name. What's Hulk? Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Since Mark Ruffalo is a doctor, he does not have a guard behind him, and that's like a symbol, like symbolizing, you know, like Leo and the lady are two patients.
Right.
They need a guard behind them. That type of stuff, I think, is incredible. I think Scorsese just absolutely crushes it with shit like that. What frustrates me is when you're watching it again, and it's mostly just from, I guess, like the core story, because this was based off of a novel that they adapted.
Yeah, I noticed that this time. I thought about trying to find that.
Yeah, if you check it out, let me know what you think, because I'm curious to go back and check it out. I think it's mostly a faithful adaptation. I think I read somewhere that they changed some stuff about the ending, but one of the things that I find kind of frustrating when you're rewatching it is when you're picking up on like the directorial sleight of hand. I like stuff like that. I really like when probably my favorite scene in the movie, because it's really funny when you go back and watch it again, is when they're looking around for the lady like on the side where they're all like all the jagged rocks are and shit, and all the guards that are supposed to be helping them are just sitting around doing nothing because they know there's no lady to look for.
Right.
I love that, because at first you just take it as they're incompetent and don't care, they're just bad guards.
Exactly.
But when you watch it again, you're like, oh, they know this is bullshit.
Yes. Yeah,
But
it's
what makes
good.
what makes it frustrating to me in some ways is when you take a second to think about how idiotic this whole idea is from the doctors. Like, the idea specifically from like Ben Kingsley, who is incredible in this movie, like, but their character choices between Ben Kingsley and Mark Ruffalo's character Sheehan is the idea of lobotomizing this guy is morally unjust. We can't do that, but we're gonna let him beat the shit out of Rorschach. We're gonna let him blow up a fucking car. We're gonna let him scale the side of a cliff with patient slippers on. This guy who has law enforcement and military training, who fought in World War II.
Yeah.
We're going to give him free reign. Could have killed Max von Sydow because he fucking stabs him with the syringe. Could have killed him. DiCaprio's character could have killed multiple people in the car explosion alone. And they kind of like they brush it off with a joke because Kingsley says, you know, I love that car. It's like, motherfucker, he could have killed people. He blew up a fucking car because you're fucking with them and you set up this whole simulation. And it's like this story, I think, gets overshadowed a bit by having to crowbar shit into making the twist work, when I almost wonder if you remove the idea. I know Shutter Island's like whole kind of like mystique around it is this twist about them fucking with him and this all being a simulation, but I almost wonder like if he spent so much time with like writing the fucking anagrams and the like the red herrings.
If it's more of a
the
detective thing than
if
action.
If it was just more of a psychological thriller instead of like really doubling down on having a Shyamalan style twist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, would this movie be better if it spent more time with flashbacks to him in the war? Like, one thing I was thinking of as I was watching this is like, I love the scenes when he's like walking through the sides of the concentration camp.
Yes.
If there was more time spent to the weird kind of Jacob's Ladder style psychological thriller. One thing it made me think of too was, what is the you'll have to forgive me, I haven't had much caffeine tonight, so I'm blanking on names for shit. What's the fucking horror movie that you picked a couple of years ago about the guys who are out in like the middle of like Eastern Europe, and they the big monsters they're there to like pay homage to their friend that had died in the convenience store.
Oh, The Ritual.
You know, the Ritual, yeah. You know, like the scenes in The Ritual where there's a lot of the scenes with like him walking through the convenience store.
Yeah.
If Shutter Island was like more dedicated to being that type of movie that's just diving into like his psyche instead of spending so much time around a twist. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's I could see that. I don't know. It didn't bother me as much because I think it also lends to I think itself to the idea of why they're going to lobotomize him. Like, he's unpredictable and violent. And I think part of the point is also letting him have the run of the place, as they put it, for 2 days. It kind of proves both points, right? Because like, they believe he's a good man that can be saved, and they show that. But it also shows the other side where he is doing these things, where he's beat up a patient, he's beat up some guards.
Yeah, he beat the crap out of Jackie Earle Haley.
Yeah.
Before the lead up to them giving him the run of the mill. Like, it's some of the like logistics of
I do love that scene, though, how sinister that scene is when you don't know what's going on.
The Jackie Earle Haley scene, yeah. Yeah. It was just one of those things where it's like I am having like mixed feelings thinking back on my rewatch of it, because like there's a lot of elements of it that are really cool when you know the twist. Like picking up on like the fact that the fucking patient lady, when they're it was like a little bit, I think before or maybe after she writes down run in his journal, but at one point she asks Ruffalo for the glass of water,
right?
And he's so. Did you catch that she picks up the glass, and in one of the images from DiCaprio's perspective, the glass isn't there because he refuses to see water? Did you catch that?
No.
On that scene? It's super interesting because like the whole thing with like the water, which is what his wife used to kill the kids,
right.
And that's like the main thing. He cannot accept the reality that is like so focused around the water. She asks for a cup of water from Ruffalo's character. He comes back and he does give her a cup of water because from her perspective, you see her put down the glass as she's drinking out of it, though. The perspective is from DiCaprio's, and there is no glass, there is no water, which is interesting because it's like he's refusing the reality that is.
So as of right now,
the water.
The 4 episodes a year that Chris listens to of this show is the Friends and Family Month, because she likes it better when we don't have control. And she wants to watch this movie so she can listen to the episode. So I have another rewatch of this movie coming up. I am going to be looking for that because you're blowing my mind right now.
It's super interesting. There's a lot of really, really cool shit like that I did not initially pick up on at all. But yeah, I like the symbolism between, and that was one thing like Soapey had mentioned, was there's a lot of symbolism between the fire and the water, because the water like is the symbol for the truth, which is like what's the first thing you are introduced
we're having
to?
Another hat conversation.
The first thing,
the first thing. Are you giving me the wet hat?
No, but the first thing that happens when you're introduced to his character is he's seasick,
right,
on the boat, because
water's the enemy.
There's like the water's the truth. He cannot accept the water. All the lies are focused around fire, because that's his lie for what happened to his family. Every time they showed fake Ladis, he's surrounded by fire.
Truth?
Yeah,
because she did start a fire.
Yeah, but that wasn't what killed him.
It wasn't what killed him, but in his
that
mind,
was the main thing.
It is, because that is an incident that happened. So
there's also more stuff with the fire. There is one of his kind of like dream sequences is when he's talking to his wife, and she is she begins to turn into ash.
I love that. That's my favorite dream sequence.
It's a super cool scene when she turns into ash. The scene in the cave when he's talking to one of the fake Rachels. Is that the name of the fake?
Rachel 2, I believe.
Rachel 2,
which is why I was going to introduce myself as Ron 2 and forgot.
When they're having their conversation, which is all of the bullshit about the conspiracy, they're talking over the fire,
Right.
and the fire is always present in the frame. There's a lot of there's a lot of really cool directorial choices that like you don't initially pick up on until it's pointed out to you, and you're just like, oh shit, like there is a lot of like running. To Soapy's point, there's a lot of I also like, how did we not open this by calling this like Soapy's choice? That was a
I think we've done that every year.
Have we done that every year?
I think we've done that every year.
It's another time.
It's a tradition.
It's tradition. But I feel like we should have done it, but we spent too much time talking about seasonal allergies. There's no time for Soapy. Let's be honest.
I think I called it that in my YouTube post about this,
Probably.
about what we were covering. I think I said it was a real Soapy's choice. So then in that instance, okay, so the storm in this movie didn't happen, right? That was in his head.
Yeah, there's conflicting information about that, because some people believe the storm is just like a metaphysical representation of like all the shit we're talking about with like the water being the truth and blah 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 blah. But I don't know. I feel like if the storms are all like bullshit, that's a little bit too like hat on a hat for me. Hat on a high hat.
The highest hat.
Because that's a little bit like. What's your take on that? Like, do you think the storms are actually happening?
I feel like if
that is like a follow-up question before you get started, is that annoying if that is the case? Because that's kind of too much. When I can't trust what fucking weather I'm seeing in the movie, it's like I think we're going a little bit overboard.
And is that annoying? So. It's one of my favorite sound bites I've ever had from you. So the reason I asked is because that final shot of the movie, that could easily just be a time jump, because we don't know
how there's no wreckage.
There's no wreckage. Everything is like pristine again. Or it could be signaling to you that the storm never happened. Which is kind of where I lean in on it. But that always confused me, because why the storm? I never thought about the water and fire symbology before. So, I don't know. I think it's probably symbolism, to be honest.
Yeah. One of my other things, too, is like, I enjoy symbolism in movies to a certain extent.
Except at
I think
funerals.
Sometimes, right? I think. What did you say, sir?
I said except at funerals.
Yeah, except at funerals. But I feel like at some point you can go like a little bit too far. Like we were talking about when you're watching the movie again, they spend so much time diving into the red herrings, which serve a great purpose on the first watch, because you're supposed to get distracted by the nonsense like DiCaprio is. You're like, the first watch, if you don't know the twist, is basically the Teddy experience, as far as you believe all the bullshit because you get sucked in by the unnecessary detail.
Right.
And then like when you're rewatching it, it's like the conversations over the fire in the cave, when it's just like, this is 10 minutes in this movie dedicated to the red herrings. Work on initial viewing, but I was like kind of frustrated on during scenes like that on rewatch, because it's like, I know this doesn't matter. So did you ever take away any of that when you're rewatching it, as far as like when you know the twist, some of the stuff that is so purely focused as sleight of hand to distract you on first viewing, did any of that like bother you on rewatch?
It didn't, because I know it doesn't matter, but like Teddy doesn't, right? Like,
okay, this
matters to Teddy because she is confirming every suspicion he's ever had, which on your first watch, you're on board. On the second watch, you're just like, oh man, this guy needs some help. Like,
he needs a hug.
Yes, this guy, like, has anyone just tried hugging him? Yeah, so like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of the point of the entire movie is scenes like that, right? Like
yeah.
Because it's all about what is reality and perception and all that. And his perception at that point in the movie is that there is this conspiracy, which he's not wrong, and that this is what's happening, and it's all stuff that he has led himself to believe previously, or that they have led him to believe to give him this role play scenario to play it out to its conclusion. I don't know. To me, it's while not important to the audience, I think it's important to the theme of the movie.
It's interesting because I think one of the most fascinating things about Shutter Island is the dichotomy between the first watch and a rewatch.
Yeah.
Now that I just watched it a second time,
Some movies
because
don't work
I
on
found-
a rewatch. By the way, some movies are one and done experience, and that's okay.
Yes,
I
will
still
say-
enjoyed this movie the second time. I didn't have a lot of issues with it.
yeah, I'm torn on it because like I've been saying, like there's a lot I really like. There's a lot that was like improved upon knowing the twist, like all the little Easter eggs essentially of like, and there's a lot more we haven't talked about of Easter eggs as far as like the sleight of hand. Like at one point they're going to talk to like the operator of the communications device, and at one point as they're leaving the room, you see him like kind of turn around, showing like, oh, I can go back to doing what I was doing. I no longer have to bullshit this random dude like for what I was doing. There's one point later on in the movie when DiCaprio walks back into one of the facilities, and they show the patient lady we talked about earlier and some of the other patients he'd interviewed. I had to watch it on a YouTube video to where they kind of like bump up some of their dialogue where you can hear it a bit better, but you can hear some of the guards in the background saying, don't stop staring at him. Stop staring at him. Because some of the guards are trying to get the other patients to not ruin the illusion that they're setting for Teddy. There's the background detail like that is super cool, but they spend so much time with the misdirects where I found parts of it on rewatch tedious, personally.
It is about 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I could see it, on a rewatch that possibly being a problem. No, that's the cool thing about that is when you are watching, you know, the lady in the courtyard that holds her finger to her mouth and like, shh.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've been telling her to do, right? Because the role play scenario, that's why it's super sinister and scary and dark, but she's just repeating what the guards have been doing to her. Like, like stuff like that is amazing.
Let's
I don't
kind of
you've blown my mind with some of the shit I'm thinking about, because now all I can think about is the opening scene where the symbology of opening up on the ocean, and it's also making him sick, and then he's splashing his face with more water. Like it to
pull yourself together, Teddy. He's splashing himself in the face with water, trying to wake himself up.
Yeah.
Trying to make him realize the truth that he refuses to accept.
Right.
But one thing I will say I would have changed about it was probably a change that would have had to have been done during the adaptation. I don't know if in the original story if he actually was a U.S. Marshal previously, but I think it would be such a cool touch if he was not a U.S. Marshal previously. And I think it would have played in so well because like DiCaprio is playing it like a kind of classic noir detective,
right?
I think it would have been
because
so
in his
cool
mind,
if,
that's
as
what's
part of the
happening.
facade, he's playing like a traditional noir detective because he was kind of like reliving what he's experienced in fiction and like radio dramas and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been a great touch if he had never been a cop at all, and he was just kind of like as part of the facade in his brain playing what he thinks a detective should act like.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a very cool touch because like I don't feel like honestly I don't honestly feel like him being a U.S. Marshal ends up like being that relevant to where he never has to use a gun. When he does, he doesn't even realize he's carrying around a fake gun. That's been part of it too.
Well,
he's actually not as observant as like he thinks he is, Because at the beginning of the movie, one of the first inklings that at the very least Ruffalo's character isn't what he says he is when he tries to pull the gun out of his holster and he can't.
Oh, he observes it. That's why he doesn't trust him at first.
He observes it, but he never really acts on it. And the entire time, he never really starts to investigate Ruffalo more. You know,
well, he can't at the same time though.
He doesn't fully like trust him, but like it's not. You get what I'm saying? It's like
because he kept calling out his accent doesn't match where he keeps saying he's from and stuff. He, and, you know, when he's like, "Come on, like, don't you trust me or whatever," and then he's like, "How's the weather in Portland this time of year or something?" And
yeah, he tries to catch him in a lie to see if he'll say like Seattle, wherever city.
And then when he keeps saying that he's from wherever he is from, he was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm going alone." Because he knows he's lying about being a marshal.
Yeah.
Now I think you're running into the theming. Is what it sounds to me like. And you know, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying, what you're saying didn't work for you. Stuff like that is working for me because I see it as looping back into the theming of the movie. So it would have been cool, but also very Hollywood if he had just been a noir movie or like noir novel geek kind of guy. In real life, a lot of trauma and things like that is played out in things you have experienced and things you do know. And he was a real U.S. Marshal. He would have been shaking down cases and mysteries like this. He's not as observant as you would expect him to be, but he's observant in his perception, right, of what is happening, and that's the theming of the movie. That's the point of the movie, is that the movie is trying to make is what is perception, what is reality, and how that can butt up against the truth. He's not able to see reality. He can only see the reality that he perceives. So those details that we are seeing that he's missing, they're not important because he's not seeing them.
I just wish the movie... honestly, I think the movie would work better just in general for future rewatches if it was shorter, like you alluded to. Is we spend...
It spends a lot of time trying to convince you of a term that I heard all throughout college and I try to avoid using now because some podcasters you and I both listen to use it a lot. It sells after the close a lot.
It really does. And I'm not, it sounds like I'm being like really negative about it. It's just one of those things where it's like, there's a lot that I really, really like about it. It's just, it's one of the most interesting movies to me now that I've watched it again in the rewatch versus original viewing discussion.
If you ran a film class, it would be an interesting discussion to show this movie on a Monday and talk about it and stuff, and then show it again the next Monday and talk about it again.
Yeah, because it's really interesting, like what it chooses to focus on, pretty much like sings on first viewing to me, the way because I didn't figure it out.
Well, it's playing to your expectations, right? I think that might be where some of the disconnect is. Again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything or that you're wrong. I'm just trying to make sense of why you and I came out different, and that the honestly what I've been saying is why. The way we perceive reality, right? I perceive it one way, and you perceive it another. But
I'm not saying it's bad. I really like the movie overall. It's just it was fascinating to me to see like what works on rewatch versus original viewing.
Yeah, it's I think part of the problem is with the movie, the shortcoming that this movie has, unfortunately, is the type of shortcoming that it has a ripple effect through the entire movie, and that is, it is trying really hard to convince you that Leonardo DiCaprio is right in service of the twist, rather than just letting the story play out and getting to the twist, which it would have done the same thing. It's got a little bit of an insecurity that you might not realize is, that you might not, that it's got a little bit of insecurity that it doesn't want you to figure out the twist before it wants you to.
It's also, but
it makes me
again, to
wonder
your point
if
from
it's
earlier,
faithful. It makes me wonder if the novel's a little sweaty too, or if it's just the movie. I don't know.
but at the same time, like to your point from earlier, this ties into the mindset of the main character because that stubbornness that the movie has is exactly what Teddy has.
Yeah.
He's so stubborn about making up this whole other bullshit connection about the fake conspiracies on the island because he's just so disconnected from reality. Let's back up just a little bit because I do want to talk a little bit from like the top down as far as we've gone really deep into like the theming and the twists and everything, but I want to talk about more about like the cast and the crew and everything just to kind of touch on everybody because we've talked about DiCaprio. You and I are both kind of on the same page. Like we don't really like DiCaprio that much. I think sometimes he's fine. I don't think I've ever watched a movie to where I would say the selling point of it was DiCaprio. This might be my favorite performance of his. I don't know how you feel about it. What is this your favorite DiCaprio performance? Is Shutter Island? Because it's probably the movie you're most positive on that stars him. I would assume.
Yeah. What was? I mean, hang on. I get this movie mixed up with another one.
My favorite movie that he's in, even though I don't necessarily know if it's his best performance, but Blood Diamond is probably my favorite movie.
I forgot about
in.
Blood Diamond.
I really like him in Blood Diamond. I think
I really liked him in Blood Diamond too. I was gonna say Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, Catch Me If You Can is strong. I forgot about that
one. I like how we each have an alternate DiCaprio movie that the other one did not remember.
Forgot about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Catch Me If You Can in like 20 fucking years.
I haven't
dude.
either. The movie came out in 2002. There's another movie with a similar title. I always get it mixed up with.
With DiCaprio?
Yeah, the Catch Me If You Can movie. Anyways, yeah, I think that he's got a really strong performance in that. A lot of people would say The Aviator. I didn't really care for The Aviator much.
I never saw The Aviator. I never really like.
I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest.
I remember seeing the trailers for it, and then I was like, that looks kind of boring, and it sounds like I was right.
Wouldn't you know? Yeah. So I don't know. He's real hit and miss for me. This is probably my favorite performance of his.
I think the best I've ever seen him act, probably outside of Blood Diamond. I think when he finds his kids drowned in the river.
Yes.
I think he's really strong at the ending of this movie. The way he's
the part with the dead kids. That's my favorite part.
Oh, it's so good, dude. No, man, but. Man, his reaction as he's having to pull them out of the river, and I love that choice to linger on watching him pulling them out of the river because it's so heartbreaking to watch, and I think he sells that scene so fucking well. When he's talking to his wife as she's talking about how like
chilling is her dialogue in that scene.
Her like we get what's the doll line she has. Where she said we'll have like
they'll be our living dolls or something.
There'll be it's some Bloodborne shit, dude.
Yeah, a corpse should be left well alone. I believe that was it. Let's see if it's in here, if I can find it. Dude, I did love the. I'm sorry, honey. I love this thing because you gave it to me, but the truth is, it's one fucking ugly tie.
I love how they don't comment on that at all, by the way, until that scene.
Right?
Because you can't help but notice. You're just like, why is he wearing that fucking hideous tie? And it's really cool. They just don't remark upon it until he's about to deliver that
Another
line.
chilling line also is from Rachel 2 in the cave. You're smarter than you look, Marshall. That's probably not a good thing because he's constructed this whole elaborate thing, including her, in his mind. So I really liked that line, but yeah, let me see if I can find the one with his wife. But that scene is real rough, man. And her acting, not just his, but the girl that's acting opposite of him, playing his wife,
Michelle Williams, who plays his wife, is I like the difference in her performance too. During like that scene when everything she says has this like really kind of like bone chilling context to it versus the other scenes throughout the movie where she comes across as like she sounds like a ghost would, not like this like deranged person that just like killed the kids. It's a nice like little like difference in the tone of what she's saying and how she says it.
I can't believe that they don't have that line in here on IMDb. Oh, let's put them at the table. We'll dry them off, change their clothes. They'll be our living dolls, huh? Tomorrow we can take them on a picnic.
It's so creepy.
If you
man.
ever loved me, Dolores, please stop talking, is what he replies with.
So good. The way that, and God, that scene is just like
her delivery on
perfectly,
Set Me Free also.
Like the delivery on the lines is great. Everything about that scene.
It's probably it's not my
done.
favorite scene in the movie, but it is probably the best scene in the movie, just because the performances and the camera angles and some of the directorial decisions made.
So good.
Yeah, it's really good. I have a question for you.
Okay.
That I don't really know how to ask. So
if you were to meet yourself, what would be your first impression of yourself?
Exactly. Obviously, what he did in reaction and what she's asking him to do, not a good thing. She probably shouldn't have done it. How much do you disagree with him shooting his wife at the end?
To me, it felt like a mercy killing, almost. To where obviously it's like he's running off of such raw emotion at that time.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much he's thinking at that time. It just seems like the only thing to do because he realizes like what she's done, how much of a danger she is to other people, and if she ever snaps back to reality and like realizes what she's done, how devastated she would be.
Well, it's him,
almost like a
right.
It's almost it would almost be like a mercy killing to me. What's your kind of take on it?
So I had some real conflict with this when I was thinking about it, because it's like my first impulse as someone born and raised in a stand your ground state was just like, she got to go. But she's mentally ill, and she's shown a lot of signs of it. She's shown destructive behavior in the past, didn't get help.
That's his biggest guilt too. Is she told him, and he never took it seriously.
She told him that she was being raccoonied by a bug inside her brain.
This motherfucker used raccoony as a verb. I respect it.
Yes. So that scene didn't land for me as hard, because when he was telling this really dramatic story with the music and the mood lighting and everything of a bug in her brain pulling on the strings, making her do things, all I could think of was Raccacoonie. And I was trying not to laugh during that scene when I was watching, because all I could think of was Raccacoonie. But yeah, I had to really think about how I feel about what he did, because not the right decision, right? Like, she needs help. It was murder. It wasn't self-defense or anything. She's sick. But at the same time, it is a mercy killing. And it's like, she did ask for it with the set me free, but she doesn't know what she's doing either, because she
doesn't know what she's saying.
Yeah. So
it's interesting.
It is moral quandary on top of moral quandary on top of moral quandary, to the point of almost not even being a question, of not even really. I think the movie intentionally has those layers, and probably the book, if I had to guess, has those layers on it, because they don't want that question to be the focus of the movie, right? So there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer, because everything is pushing and pulling at the same time. Other than obviously what he did was wrong, reasoning doesn't really matter. But yeah, I had to really think about it, because it's like, yeah, no, he needs help too, because he's obviously got PTSD, and
he had PTSD before this happened because of what happened in World War II.
Right, from World War II.
Yeah.
He had PTSD before we knew what that was. Right, we didn't discover that until Vietnam, right? We didn't figure out PTSD was a thing. So he has PTSD before anyone even knew what PTSD was. So there is no help for him. That's why he drinks so much. Um, and then he comes home to this, like he's checked out. Like he doesn't know what he's doing either when he pulls
I
the
think
trigger.
you can tell what DiCaprio thinks about it. Specifically in the scene at the end when he's about to walk off to be lobotomized, when he has the light, because that's the thing too. We haven't talked about it. Do you think he's aware? Because I think he is fully back in reality at the end of it, and he just can't live with it anymore, and he voluntarily fakes being Teddy just so he can be lobotomized and not have to think about it anymore. He can't live with it because he has that line too. What's the line about, like, would you rather like die a good man or live being a monster or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that shows what he
Live long
thinks
enough
about
to see
his
yourself
decision.
become the villain.
I think that's what he views himself as a monster because of the decision to shoot her. Because it was just a raw moment of like, what else can you do? And it was just like, it almost like he was on autopilot when doing it.
Again, it's intentionally muddled because it's like, was he on autopilot? Was he checked out? Was it a mercy killing? Like the movie, and again, I'm guessing the book. I don't know, but I'm guessing the book it does not want what happens in that scene to be the focus because this is supposed to be about Teddy's journey. This thing has already happened in the past. It's done. That's not what we're talking about. So it's intentionally muddled to the point of almost not even mattering, other than just the fact that it happened. But yeah, I'm trying to. God damn, IMDb quotes. I'm looking for that quote that you were asking me about, as it has to be in here. But no, I agree. I believe that he is intentionally doing this. He wants to be lobotomized. He wants to forget.
And who can honestly blame the dude?
Yeah.
Because like, holy shit, how do you come back from that? And I know that's kind of like Kingsley and Ruffalo are like trying to help him.
Yes.
And I understand
desperately.
they're desperately trying to help this man. They know deep down
and
he is a good man who is
line of dialogue, he completely undoes all the work that they have done for years leading up to this, because Kingsley talks about for years he's been trying to talk about how the barbarism of lobotomy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I always struggle to recall that word, probably because I've been lobotomized. That is just a thing that like no one needs, and he's been trying to show that there's an alternative to it for years. He has an entire line of dialogue about it earlier in the movie, how he's going to fight for what he's built here, which is a really chilling scene when you don't know the twist. But he's not talking to Teddy. He's talking to, what's his real name? The anagram?
Latest.
Something like that. Yeah. He's not talking to him. He's talking to Awake him, who's not awake at the moment. So it makes more sense. What like the double meaning of that scene makes more sense later. But
Andrew Latest.
Yeah, Andrew. Thank you. He's not talking to Teddy in that scene. He's talking to Andrew. So of course Teddy is confused, right?
Yeah. Oh, I found the quote. The quote was, this place makes me wonder. Yeah, what's that, boss? Which would be worse, to live as a monster or to die as a good man?
Yeah.
And that's his last line.
I found my favorite.
By the way, sorry, what
I was gonna say I found my favorite quote.
What was your favorite?
Is this not a psychiatric term? No, I'm afraid not. Who is 67? Fucked if I know. I have to say that's quite close to my clinical conclusion.
Yeah, it was really strong. You want to know? To me, the most underrated performance in this entire movie that I really loved on rewatch.
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo is amazing in this because when he is playing the fake detective, he delivers his lines flat because the doctor would be a shitty actor.
Yeah.
And then immediately once he is Dr. Sheehan again, he's charismatic Mark Ruffalo delivering his lines like Mark Ruffalo usually does. That is such a cool touch that like most people don't really talk about, but I love him in this. I think he's fucking great.
It really made me realize I need to watch more Mark Ruffalo movies.
He's so good at
he's
this, man.
So
like,
good.
Especially I love all those.
But don't get me wrong, he's good as the Hulk. But if you want to really, and he's the perfect choice because of the push and pull between those characters, right? Bruce Banner versus the Hulk,
for sure.
But
yeah,
like he's real fucking great. Like Leonardo DiCaprio overshadowed him in this movie, I think. But he's acting opposite of him most of the movie and holding his own.
He's so good.
You know, and this is Leonardo
do.
DiCaprio at one of his strongest performances, like we were talking about, and Mark Ruffalo is keeping up with him. Like,
and
he's
like
really good.
DiCaprio's performance is really good because of the links to which he's having to go, especially with the stuff towards the ending of the movie. But the exact opposite is what's in place for Ruffalo's performance, because his is so based around subtlety, and you don't initially pick up on his the tone in which he talks when he's the fake detective versus when he's revealed to be his actual self is such a cool touch. Like the way he's even repetitive, and like part of that's the really good dialogue from Chuck. Is that his fake detective name?
I think
Chuck?
so, yeah. Which is also not creative.
But the amount of times he calls him boss is a really like repetitive thing that is like, it kind of goes over your head on first viewing.
It turns out it's his thing. That's what he calls him, as his doctor.
Yeah, it's such a cool touch. Like that, there's a lot of like very, very specific detail to the dialogue and the characterization that is really astounding. Like that, because like just the way this movie is constructed is masterclass from like a directorial point of view, and pretty much every performance. I love Ben Kingsley.
Oh my god,
he's so charismatic. Both. I love how you get scary Ben Kingsley, and then you get really funny Ben Kingsley. Like he almost has like an Iron Man 3 level of change in this.
Yeah, not that over the top, but yeah.
But where
that dichotomy is there.
He is, the dichotomy of like he is presented as this really sinister doctor for the first like 95% of the movie, and then you end up getting the like the way he delivers, like, I love that car.
Yeah.
Like he's so likable at the end.
Like the double meaning of that scene I was talking about, where he's sitting there talking to Teddy, and he's talking about how he's gonna fight for what he's built here, blah 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 blah, and that he's not. It feels weird and out of place, and that's what makes it sinister. But he's not talking to Teddy, he's talking to Andrew in that scene. It's so good. Yeah. It is so good, because upon rewatch, and you know that he's talking to Andrew, it has a completely different air about it. Ben Kingsley is one of my all-time favorite actors, and
but by the way, Joe, he's like 82.
Oh my god,
that like blew my mind.
Really?
When I realized that, because like he was already in his like late 60s when he was making Shutter Island and like Iron Man 3, which is kind of crazy to think about.
God, I don't want to live in a world without a Ben Kingsley. That means it's going to happen soon. I don't like it.
He's 81.
No, he's not.
By the way, if you look at him today, like the dude fucking ages like fine wine. He does not look like he's 80 to me. He looks
good.
Like he's like, he looks permanently like he just got frozen at the age of like 60.
Oh, the poor bastard. His birthday is December 31st.
Nice.
That's terrible. 1943. Yeah. That makes him 5 years older than my dad.
Yeah. Love Ben Kingsley.
Love Ben Kingsley so much.
I think the choice of Max von Sydow is really strong in this too.
Yes.
The conversation they have, one of my favorite exchanges of dialogue in the entire movie is when DiCaprio figures out that he's German.
Yes.
Because like that is a moment where he is actually showing his like a level of like detective observation, is when he figures out, because of the way he's pronouncing certain consonants, that he's actually German.
Yeah.
Which is their exchange is really strong in that scene. I forget like the ins and outs of like what they're talking about, but that scene's really really well written and really well acted.
Yeah, and that would
Dr.
obviously be a
Neyri.
problem with him having PTSD from World War II, seeing
Of
the
course.
concentration camps. Doesn't mean that Max von Sydow's character had anything to do with any of that, but you know, that type of prejudice, it doesn't have to be rational, you know. So
well, now you and I both love Ted Levine, but the scene with the warden to me is one of the most like when you're watching it again, you're just like, what the fuck is this scene?
I feel like it's the most Ted Levine thing I've ever seen. I feel like he's just ad-libbing the whole time.
Like, if I were to reach across and try to bite your eye, and I'm watching it, I was like, what? What is this? you you y'all set up. I don't know if that's just him trolling the doctors, because this is now like my only thing that I can come up with is Ted Levine is like me and realizes how fucking stupid this whole scenario is.
Well,
As far as like giving him free reign on the fucking island when he has military training and shit, because his dialogue is so weird.
so Leonardo DiCaprio's expression this whole time is basically what yours and mine were watching the scene. I think like the camera's rolling like when he's looking at Ted Levine.
He's like, this wasn't in the script, Ted. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Oh, it's so good. But I really don't care what Ted Levine is saying. I just want to hear him talk.
You just want to hear him talk. That's fair. Yeah, fucking Buffalo Bill, man.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Oh God.
He's in the movie for all of like 30 seconds, and he still manages to be like one of the most disturbing parts of the movie. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh God. Yeah.
Pull yourself together, Ted Levine. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I love like it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
yeah, what's the context? He's been talking to him. I don't think they had really met before. I think he saw him when he sees him for a brief second when he arrives on the island, but they had never talked before. It's like, what the fuck is this exchange?
So
it's so random.
I love though that his character, which is the character that wants him lobotomized, is just not playing along with it. He's talking to Andrew.
Is he intentionally being crazy to try to like antagonize him? Is that like?
I think he wants him to give him an excuse. Number one. Number two, he's just not playing along. He thinks this whole thing is stupid. You can tell he's just.
And it is. Yeah. By the way, Ted Levine is right, because this whole scenario is fucking dumb when you think about it. Like the fucking logistics, dude. So, Ron, like track this with me. We're intentionally setting up a ruse that we want DiCaprio to figure out. However, we're setting up a whole lot of red herrings to make this really sink in as an investigation in which he can't trust anybody. So let's have DiCaprio stand on the side of a fucking cliff with Ruffalo, who at any point, who he's already aware is suspecting like foul play from Ruffalo's character. Could have just pushed his ass off the fucking cliff, man. Like, he could have fucking midsummered this man, and we're just letting him like have free reign of the island. There's a lot of stupid decisions these two doctors make.
The role play,
off the best of intentions.
I think the role play was supposed to end at that scene because he's trying to get him to look at the paper.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think that's why he's trying to get him to look at the paper.
He keeps trying to, and
because he wants him
to look at it.
He wants the reveal to be that he is the other patient. Because he even says at one point, like, just look at the paper. Like, just look at it. Like, he's desperately trying to get him to look at it, but he...
Yeah, what do you think is the thinking as far as why that moment to bail on the character of Chuck? Because at that point, like, is it just that he refuses to look at the paper? And he's like, at that time, he decides to just bail? Because it happens very abruptly as far as, like, Ruffalo disappearing, you know, from the, like, the role-playing perspective of it. Because I couldn't really figure it out trying to think back on it.
I don't know if at that point he's bailing or if he's just like going to get somebody so they can like get driven back or whatever. And then that's when Leonardo disappears.
Because at that point you don't see Ruffalo again until he has the reveal,
as the doctor,
Dr. Sheehan at the end. So I don't know if that was kind of like a last straw, being broken in the simulation where they're just like, all right, he's just not gonna fucking figure it out. I don't know.
Well, also like at that point he knows he's lost his trust, right? It's not gonna work if he doesn't trust him, and he doesn't trust him because of his accent.
Maybe it was seeing Teddy standing next to the murder cliff where he's like, maybe I'm gonna bail on this whole simulation because it's kind of fucking dumb. So I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, the scenes when he's walking along the concentration camp, the special effects they have for like the bodies is really good and really creepy. The way that they look like just purely frozen.
Yeah.
I wish the movie had less time dedicated to red herrings in the middle of the movie, and more time dedicated to like the World War II PTSD, because those are some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Is him how fucking chilling it is to like watch him walk around the remains of the camp, you know?
Yeah, and
That's because obviously like the bigger trauma is this. I almost want to read the book too to see if there's more stuff dedicated to his PTSD as a soldier versus, because like in the movie you have to truncate it to like, we've got 2 hours and whatever to do the story, so we have to make the focus on his family. But if the book has more time to dive into the PTSD aspect of it, I wonder if there's more time dedicated to his time as a soldier, which I'm really interested in.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, because there's obviously symbology there between my favorite dream sequence where he's talking to his wife in the burning building and she turns to ash, and like the ash falling through the sky is the same ash that's like falling at the concentration camps, and then the death by fire also in the concentration camps.
There's also the cool touch where in that dream sequence, at first she had, is it like water that she has like spewing out of her stomach and then it turns into blood?
Yeah.
And then she catches on fire, where it's like for a brief second it's almost like he started to remember the truth of it, because he shot her in the stomach, right? That was like her, like for a second it's water and then it turns into blood, but then it turns into fire, so it's like for a brief second it's like he almost snapped back into reality then.
Yeah.
But then he had like, the defense mechanisms that Max von Sydow talks about, like how good his defense mechanisms are,
which
about,
it belabors the point of they want you to watch this a second time because there's no reason to have stuff like that in the scene unless you know the twist, right?
Yeah, there's also a really cool bit when DiCaprio interrupts the like dinner sequence that all the scientists and doctors are having. You hear a couple of the scientists talking about how like, or a couple of doctors talking about how like, oh, the law of four, I love that. Like they can, they're talking about the bullshit stories and like the bullshit game of Clue that he's
playing,
going through right now.
Yeah, it's a complicated movie, man.
I don't think so. I think it's pretty straightforward.
It's a complicated movie with a lot of complicated like emotions in it. I think the biggest problem, I think what you're picking up on, in my opinion, is the movie really wants you to figure out the twist when it wants you to. So it's trying real hard to push you in one direction. It's almost sweaty about it. Whereas, I'm thinking about it and I agree with that, but I have twisted that all the way back around to loop back into the theme of the movie. So like,
right. Yeah, it does work. But my problem, I think, is mostly a factor of the pacing.
Right.
Because when
you know the twist, them trying to convince you them trying to pull the sleight of hand when you already have seen the movie once, it grinds a little bit.
Yeah, mostly in the middle of the movie, like when one thing that I think should have been edited down is the scene with Rachel in the cave.
Yeah,
that scene goes on way too long.
I agree.
Because that is the point, especially when I remember watching it a few days ago, where I'm just like, oh, okay, can we stop like you said earlier, like selling past the close, like they're selling you so much fake misinformation that it's just like when you're
almost
watching
Facebook.
It now when you're watching it the first time, it works because you do get distracted by the bullshit. But when you know what is real and what's the bullshit, like the conspiracy shit on the island, you're just like, oh, okay, this could have been a 2-minute scene as opposed to 10 minutes, and you like start to like, your brain starts to like edit the movie retroactively as far as like what's necessary and what's not. But then the movie is constructed so well for the first viewing, I can't knock them too much for that because it worked on me. It fucking worked on me the first time. It's such a different experience in the rewatch. And people,
like
are still talking about this movie
built into it. So that is a problem. Because
the
Easter eggs of like her having the stomach wound, it's like, well, where the fuck did that come from? And then it turns to blood. And it's like, why is she all wet in a burning building? And then the blood coming from the stomach, like, what is that about? That makes no sense unless you've already seen the movie. That is only there for a rewatch.
Exactly. What's just real quick? I'm mostly out of stuff I want to talk about. I was just curious. What is your opinion on the anagrams? Because I find the anagrams kind of annoying.
Annoyed Jeff is best Jeff. I don't know. I honestly didn't think about it.
Do you want to know partially why
because it only
me?
works in a book?
Do you want to know specifically what it fucking makes me think of? It annoys the piss
I like
out
how
of
I
me.
just threw a wrench into what you're about to say.
Is that stupid fucking scene in Harry Potter?
Okay.
Where, do you remember in the second Harry Potter the anagram?
Which
scene
one's the second one?
Where the one with the big snake?
There's a big snake.
You remember the giant fucking snake in the Chamber of Secrets?
Okay, I know the Chamber of Secrets. Okay.
Okay. The fucking Voldemort Tom Riddle anagram is such like I'm so much smarter than you. Like, get bent, reader. I fucking hate that shit. When she's like, Tom whatever Riddle, I am Lord Voldemort. It's like, fuck, you're not smart because you have fucking made an anagram out of the name, which no one in their right mind would ever take the time to analyze the fucking letters of the Tom Riddle name.
However, Jeff, you see, that plays back into the theming where Voldemort thinks he's smarter than everyone.
God damn, it's so annoying. Because that's not what she's thinking. She's just trying to prove how fucking clever she is, and that shit drives me crazy.
Yeah, but that's more of a problem with J.K. Rowling, and that is the least problematic problem with J.K. Rowling.
Well, it's also in this movie, fucking Shutter Island is also an anagram.
Yeah.
Which is also annoying.
Wait, the name Shutter Island is?
Shutter Island is an anagram of truths and lies. That is why it's called Shutter Island.
Really?
Which is really annoying.
Interesting.
He took 5 weekends
I don't know that I want to read this
figure
book
out.
Now.
He spent an entire month probably just workshopping this fucking title so he could have an anagram for the title. And that shit drives me crazy because it's just like, it doesn't matter. Anagrams are annoying. I hate them. Do you want to know what anagram I really like that I think is really actually clever? Is the Torchwood Doctor Who thing.
Yeah,
is really
that's
cool.
really good.
That's the only time an anagram has been like
effective,
legitimately effective and cool to me, and not just like you were wasting so much time trying to prove how smart you are when you're just proving how annoying you are, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, I don't know. It annoys me because that is a thing that only works in a book because you're reading the names over and over and over. But if I don't know the original name, then it doesn't work. Like, actually, unless Andrew's name shows up somewhere earlier in the book than it shows up in this movie, that
you couldn't figure it out.
The J.K. Rowling one actually works better.
It's stupid.
Because you've seen and heard Tom Riddle several times before you get there.
I think what also annoyed me about the way that they did that in the Harry Potter movie is I'll have to find the scene for you if you don't remember it. In the fucking movie, dude, he uses a wand to scribble out the letters so he can physically rearrange them on screen for the people watching the fucking movie, which is just like, we're really grinding the movie to a halt so J.K. Rowling can show her fucking anagram to the crowd. Like,
well, that's really? Because kids movie, right?
But the fucking kids don't care. They don't. The fucking little kids don't know what an anagram is, dude. It's pointless. It's like this esoteric nonsense that people are only utilizing to try to seem smart, and it's just such a fucking waste of time.
I agree, but I can't go down this road because what I have learned being a father is that all the shit you and I complain about in movies works on kids.
Kids are pretty
everything
dumb.
that we have everything that we have complained about in Star Wars and everything, I watch it work on my kids, and I'm just like, well, what do you know? They actually knew what they were doing, who they were playing to.
George really should have put Ewoks in Jedi.
My kids love the Ewoks. They love Jar Jar.
I'm gonna be honest. I liked it, and I don't love Jar Jar, but I love the Ewoks. I can't dislike the Ewoks. They're too awesome.
Can we talk about one more thing before we get out of here?
No, I gotta
okay.
go.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Can we talk about Elias Koteas in this movie?
Yes.
Oh my god, dude. Where's that movie?
What movie?
That's the movie I want. Fucking
Go on.
okay, so first off, the way he looks is fucking nightmarish to begin with. He's 15 degrees off of being Two-Face, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
No pun intended with the fire starter stuff. When I think of Elias Koteas, I think of fucking Casey Jones.
I do too every time.
So to see Casey Jones as a fucking Two-Face, what's the other one? The knife guy, Zaz.
Oh
as
yeah,
like
Victor
a
Zaz.
pyromaniac, Two-Face Zaz.
It's like where he just looks like a serial
And
killer.
he's just so fucking chilling in that scene. The way he talks and he lights Leonardo DiCaprio's cigarette and stuff. Oh my god,
it's really good.
that entire scene was amazing, and it was 100% him.
I like that little tidbit too in the movie where he never is able to light his own cigarette because they won't let him have a lighter because he's a patient.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. That's the shit I like, is like that real strong attention to detail with the I don't know if that would have been a thing in the book or not. I would also like to read the book to see what all was like clever bits to show you that it's a simulation for the movie versus what was already established in the story in the book. So we might have to go check out the book and like
a literal book report
back on it. A literal
book club. This is a book club for movies. We're gonna do a literal book club.
Well, we did that with The Martian because we both.
That's true. And I basically did that with 13th Warrior, even though people complained we didn't talk about the movie at all. I think that was the one that like 2 hours didn't talk about the movie once. I'm like, bitch, this whole episode was nothing but the movie start to finish. Like that really chapped my ass for some reason.
That was like the most time we spent on subject like ever.
And it was probably our most thorough episode we've ever done.
Yeah, because I
have a passion for that movie and that story
you've
and
watched
that book.
You've watched and read that book like how many times? Like your shit when it comes to that story.
I like the story of Beowulf, and it is the story of Beowulf. So like I have like 3 different connections to this goddamn movie, and we talked about it beginning to end, and someone had the balls to be like this episode was 2 hours long and they didn't even talk about the movie. The fucker did you listen to? He said, wasn't this episode? Anyway.
Real quickly, we had talked about most of the cast and crew, but I don't think we ever officially named Dennis Lehane was the writer of the novel, who obviously gets a co-writing credit for this as the writer of the novel, and then Leda Kalogridis. Kalogridis, I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I apologize, but that was the writer of the screenplay. Yeah. I'm curious. I need to ask Soapey if he's read the book.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know.
Because he's really into Shutter Island. I'd be
I really like the cover. I really like the cover of the book.
I don't know if I'm looking it up now. I don't know if I've actually.
It reminds me a lot of fucking. God, I'm getting tired too. Of Project Hail Mary. The coloring they
Which
used.
cover are you seeing? Because I googled it and I'm looking at like 5 different fucking covers.
It is, if you'll turn your attention to reverse blow dart. Oh, come on, Link. What is this, Discord? Why didn't it post a preview of the link?
Oh yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. The way the coloring is done reminds me of Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, with that contrast with the yellow and the. Yeah, I'm so excited for that fucking Project Hail Mary movie, man. I'm so excited.
I've already
can't wait.
Chris, excuse me, I'm tired. Chris has to already fucking hate it because I talk about it nonstop.
Won't shut up about it.
Yeah, anytime I re-listen to it's in my rotation of audiobooks that I listen to again and again and again. So anytime I listen to it, she knows because that's all I talk about for like a week.
Man, it's like fucking Sophie's Choice but I might like Project Hail Mary better than The Martian now after listening to the audiobook of it and listening to The Martian again because I love The Martian, but man, I love the characters in Hail Mary so much that like it's close. It's like a debate in my brain which one I like better.
Yeah, the sorry, I just found Shutter Island on Audible. I added that to my wish list. Yeah, it's real hard to decide. I think I still like
They're close.
I think I still like The Martian better, but there's an aspect to Project Hail Mary that is a spoiler I can't talk about here that
I
really like.
That's something too, because I hope they are reserved about the way they do the marketing for that movie.
Oh god.
Because I could see them fucking that up, and I hope they don't. But they have really good people associated with the development of it, as far
really
as
good
the
people
writer and
on both
directors.
sides.
But I hope that they are able to
Ooh.
not spoil shit that should be kept a secret.
Sorry. You still with
What
me?
did you say?
I wasn't sure if we got disconnected or what because you just stopped. I just found that same Shutter Island audiobook on Libby, which means I can get it with my library card, and there's only one person ahead of me in line. And I can get the text version, the actual book. I can get it right now in text.
And you can read the anagrams, the magical rearranging of letters.
By reading the title, I technically have. Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh God, so many questions now. Do you think Dennis Lehane's name is an anagram of his actual name, and this is just his pen name?
Or maybe he just thinks he's a writer, but it's like his wife who's just like trolling him with this whole simulation that he just thinks he's a writer.
Let's see. Hang on.
I don't know.
I gotta do something here. Let's see. Ow. God damn. Why so bright screen? It's just a fucking white screen.
By the way,
yes.
How has Ben Kingsley only won one Academy Award? That's the travesty.
What? There's only one.
Yeah, he won for Gandhi. He's only had 4 total nominees, and he's only won.
What did he win? Like
for Gandhi.
What did he win for?
It was for Gandhi.
Oh, okay. I think that's what he's probably most known for, to be honest.
Probably, but like he should have like fucking 10 nominations and like 4 or 5 wins to me, because I fucking love that man.
Yeah, he's great in everything he's in.
Like, people bitch about Iron Man 3. I think his twist is genius. I love that because it's such a fuck you to comic book nerds that I can't help but love it.
It made so many people so mad, and I just, dude, that is my favorite version of the Mandarin. I fucking love it.
Like,
and then
y'all are really bent out of shape because they didn't go the fucking racial stereotype route. Y'all are stupid,
dude. I was so happy when they did it. I was so happy because 1, it was just genius, and 2, I was like, people are gonna be so pissed, and they were so pissed.
I love it. Fuck the angry comic book nerds.
Yeah.
As I spend 20 minutes arguing about how stupid anagrams are.
Anagram nerd. You love anagrams, Jeff. You can't fool me.
I love them so much. I love it so much. By the way, you should watch that Harry Potter scene I was talking about because it's fucking dumb.
No, I remember it. Once you start talking about it, I remember
dumb.
it. I don't remember the movies. I don't remember which one is which.
I like that you forgot the giant snake.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
The giant snake and the fucking.
I don't remember a giant snake.
They're like a sewer type thing, and he has to fight the giant snake, and he like pulls the sword out of the hat, and fights Captain Anagram next to the giant fucking snake. I don't know.
So I remember there being a thing that really made me mad in one of the movies where they were calling something a basilisk and it wasn't a basilisk.
It was probably
Is it
that.
the snake? There's an animal they keep calling a basilisk, which is not a real animal, I get, but I was like, that's not a basilisk. I remember that.
It's probably that, because yeah, he fights like a giant, huge fucking kaiju snake in the sewers.
The snake's huge. Yeah, I don't know. It's Harry Potter, man. I don't pay too much attention.
Well, you're about to get to watch it all over again on HBO. Isn't that exciting?
almost would watch it just for fucking what's his name.
Lithgow.
Yes.
Yeah, Lithgow is. Some people complain about that. I'm like, y'all are high. Lithgow is awesome.
Dude, Lithgow's amazing. Real quick, I want to just real quick follow up from last week. I said that a really good double feature is Shutter Island.
Another time followed up by another time.
Another time followed by the other time.
Yeah.
The threequel is that one time.
There was time now.
That's what he meant all along. I said a good double feature would be Stonehurst Asylum. Do not make the mistake of looking up that movie on IMDb for any reason at all. The poster...
Stonehurst Asylum?
Yeah, Stonehurst Asylum.
I think we talked about this vaguely, but I don't remember.
Yeah, we talked about it last week when you revealed Shutter Island was the next movie. I said that...
I believe you mean Truths and Lies.
I said that Stonehurst Asylum is a good double feature with Shutter Island, and I'm looking at it on IMDb. The poster spoils that movie, and the trailer that plays on loop spoils that movie.
Really? Man, that's fucking weak.
Yeah, it's a fucking crime what I'm looking at. So do not go to IMDb for that movie at all until you've seen it.
Is this one that you're potentially going to pick for the podcast at some point?
Maybe.
I forget if it was one you wanted to have on the show.
Maybe. I hadn't considered it, but
okay.
It's the one I was telling you about with Kate Beckinsale and Ben Kingsley and David Thewlis and Brendan Gleeson and Michael Caine and Jim Sturgis and Jason Fleming.
Holy shit. That's great. That's a great cast.
It just keeps going, dude.
I mean, honestly, all you had to say was Ben Kingsley. I'm just like, yeah, I'll watch it. It's got Ben Kingsley in it, man. Hey, Ron, did you know Pirate Angel Prime is an anagram of Justin Hartley? Did you know that?
What? I don't think that's true.
It's pretty crazy. Let's get the fuck
because
out
of
of
the
here.
J, I might believe Pirate Ninja. We talked about that in The Martian.
It's Pirate Nanja. That's how you get to the anagram.
God, I want more John Goodman in my life, too.
We need to pick Speed Racer.
Oh, dude, Speed Racer's so good.
I'm surprised you haven't picked Speed Racer purely for John Goodman and purely for Nanja, because the Nanja joke is worthy of getting it on the show by itself. Let's be honest.
The restraint that I have shown, I think that should merit me some kind of compliment or something, because
I mean, you know, I like that movie too, right? It's not like you're subjecting me to Speed Racer, because I like Speed Racer,
but I'm subjecting the handful of people that listen to this show to Speed Racer.
Hey, those people should fucking watch Speed Racer, because Speed Racer is dope, dude. That movie's awesome. I love that movie.
We had that in IMAX.
I wish I had seen it in IMAX. I think I watched it only on, like at home.
The visuals, I'm sure, look like crap now. At the time, it was incredible on that screen and with those projectors and that film print. But what our favorite aspect working up there was, so before I worked in the IMAX projection booth, the screen and the projection itself was my favorite aspect. Working up there, I quickly learned the strength of that format was the sound. The sound of that movie is amazing.
Love it.
You feel everything. It just shakes you in your seat. It was great.
Yeah, all about it. Just real quickly, just to reiterate, I really like Shutter Island. I just had some qualms about the rewatch of it and the logistics of how
goes on
and the logistics of how stupid the two doctors could be because of this idea.
I really love this movie, but it's stupid.
The idea the two doctors have is absolutely stupid. No one can argue this with me. It is so idiotic. The man fucking PUBG's a car, dude. He PUBG's a car. Okay.
Oh, the tight circle of people that regularly listen to this are the only ones that's gonna know what the fuck you're talking about.
He totally does, though, dude. People could have died.
It's an ugly fucking tie.
It's like
a beta grade tie.
It's a beta grade tie. I refuse to lobotomize Titanic. So we're gonna let him potentially murder dozens of people on this island. Okay. Isn't that like breaking the Hippocratic Oath when you fucking subject Leonardo DiCaprio, who has military training on a fucking island where the people can't get away from Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, but some people would argue that lobotomizing someone is also breaking the Hippocratic Oath. So
That's very true, but at least yes, that's an isolated incident though. Not
gray areas.
the man fucking blew up. Not the man fucking blew up a car. I'm just hey, fucker blew up a car for no reason. He's already in the clear. He walks back to unnecessarily blow up a car that like doesn't even really make a distraction because it's like, hey, do you see Teddy running away? Yeah, I can totally see Teddy running away like 20 feet away.
I was thinking about that when I watched it. I was like, shouldn't you be going somewhere while it's on fire? And then it exploded, and I was like, well, movie is over.
It's like, I could have ran away because cool guys don't look at explosions. They do look at their ghost children and ghost wife. Fuck. Oh man, that's too good. We gotta get out. We gotta get out of here.
God damn it.
I was watching that though. I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, this was barely
I was
a
like,
distraction.
are you gonna stand there and watch it happen? Because you're just drawing him to you. And then he stood there and watched him happen. And when they started running, his reaction's like, oh fuck, and then run.
I also just think of like I think of where Ben Kingsley and fucking Ruffalo were at. They're just like at the cafeteria. They hear an explosion. They're just did you hear that?
Oh god.
What have we done? It's so funny.
It's almost like Peter Stormare was there with the other nihilists.
We believe in nothing. They finally did it. They finally killed my fucking
that tie really tied the suit together.
Oh fuck. Okay. Rod, you might have to do the sign-offs because I'm crying. That's just too funny, dude. They killed that poor automobile. Oh
she
god.
probably kidnapped herself.
I can see you're not a golfer.
Oh, dude.
Fuck.
Now I just want to do a podcast where we tie every movie we watch back into Big Lebowski.
Oh man.
Oh god, I'm crying.
Okay, I'm fucking toast, dude. Oh my god, my brain. I dehydrated my fucking brain, dude.
Hey, Jeff.
Fucking hell.
Say what you want about the two doctors in the movie, but at least they've got a goddamn ethos. Oh, man.
Say what you will about the Hippocratic Oath, but at least it's an ethos. Okay, if you would like to follow whatever the fuck this show has become, we are on Twitter at SBR Filmcast. You can follow us for show updates.
Damn it.
Any ratings or reviews on whichever platform you found us on. Always help us out.
You killed that poor podcast.
Oh, this is going to be a struggle, dude. What the fuck was I saying?
I don't know.
If you
I can imagine now is Leonardo DiCaprio jumping out of a car and just rolling down the road. Like Johnny Goodman.
My god.
Oh my god.
This isn't Nom. This is Shutter Island.
There are rules.
Dude, why does Big Lebowski work so well with mixing the quotes? Fuck off. This episode is both like very on point and also utter fucking nonsense for half of it.
It's almost as confusing as some of the aspects of the movie.
Oh man,
it all ties in together, dude. Like the rug.
if you know anyone else that might like whatever the fuck this has become, you can share it out to your friends.
It was real weird, and that lady in the cave said it helps the odds of conception.
We believe in nothing, Andrew Ladis. We believe in nothing. What else do we do on the sign off? I don't fucking know, dude.
Mark Ruffalo fell off the cliff in his mind. It's a good night, sweet prince.
Good night, sweet prince. Fucking hell, dude.
What the fuck are we watching next?
Yeah. We are continuing.
Are we?
Friends and Family Month. We are. We're gonna cover another time.
Again.
Wouldn't that be fucked up if someone like His friends and family about there are rules. Wouldn't it be funny if someone just like tried to pick the same thing again? It's just like, can we just like, pull? Can we activate the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh trap card? And just like, no, you can't fucking do that, or do we have to cover another time?
Well, we almost had Exodia, but you told them no.
Yeah, I mean, that's. Would the final fifth Exodia be another time because it has Twilight in it, but it wasn't actually called Twilight? Is that the final fifth card to win?
Oh man,
Was it? That was yeah. I think that's how it works. Because how many Twilight movies were there? Too many, I know, but how many was it? 4?
Yes, because what, 3 books? They split the third one into 2 movies because
the final
Harry
one?
Potter.
Yeah. So so the fifth Exodia card is another time. We figured it out. Truths and lies.
Truths and lies.
Yeah. So our next selection comes courtesy of Aurora, because Bobby is still figuring out whatever the fuck he's gonna torture us with next time.
He's still laying his
but
trap
Aurora,
cards.
yeah, he really has.
God, I'm so flimmy now.
I know, dude. Those fucking Lebowski tie-ins like killed me, man. Like I'm gonna have trouble sleeping, I think. Aurora has selected for us to cover the movie Wicked, which I would like to check out again, and I can sell Ron on it because Ron, did you know that in Wicked you get a Jeff Goldblum song and dance number? Because
I didn't even know he was in it.
He is the wizard, and you get a song and dance number from Mr. Goldblum, which I think.
How much does the story of Wicked depend on your knowledge of Wizard of Oz?
It's not like super pivotal. Have you seen Wizard of Oz?
Not in its entirety.
You should probably.
I'm a nihilist when it comes to Wizard of Oz.
You can still appreciate it because it's based off of the Broadway thing, so it has like good songs to it, and it's not like it's like it's such a reimagining of it that if you know like the bare bones of it, even you don't have to be an expert in Wizard of Oz to appreciate it. But I think you will like the cast.
We'll see how this goes because I roll my eyes at the idea of Wicked every time. I've never had. It's not just that I've had zero interest. I've been like actively like going out of my way to not watch it. So
you will at least appreciate the cast of it. Peter Dinklage is in it as a voice actor. Michelle Yeoh is in it. Goldblum's in it. And the main lady is played by Cynthia Erivo, who you and I really liked in Bad Times at the El Royale. Do you remember the singer lady?
Oh, okay.
She plays the Wicked Witch. You and I loved her in El Royale, and she's excellent in Wicked too.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, so I think you'll like the cast because it's a really strong supporting cast for it. It's available for streaming on Peacock if anyone has that, and it's obviously going to be streaming on the other shit. So
well done.
Dude,
hey,
those
say what
Lebowski
you want.
jokes.
At least Peacock's a goddamn ethos.
the Lebowski jokes fucking destroyed me, dude. I can't. We're lucky I was able to sign off the show. Okay.
People signed off of this show a long time ago.
That's true. This fucking guy won't shut the fuck up about goddamn anagrams, man. He just goes on and on about it. It's every episode is now.
I have enough problems with my own allergies. I don't need to listen to someone else talk about their allergies. Goddamn nihilist.
This guy, all he does is talk about anagrams and Justin Hartley now. Like, what does the show become?
Leonardo just being chased by Peter Stormare in the red bodysuit with the giant scissors.
I now just got the image of fucking Teddy in the patient outfit just running away from like 400 different like spooky patient ladies. And that dream sequence takes on like a whole new interpretation.
Oh god.
Fucking hell. But yeah. We have Wicked coming up next time, and then we will be rounding it out with
whatever the fuck
Bobby's
Bobby
selection
picks
to finish off Friends and Family Month. Have you ever talked to your dad about picking something else? Because you had him pick the original.
And that
thing
was
that we haven't.
Yeah, that was our best running video for a long time.
I was curious if you'd ever talked to him about maybe picking something else as like a bonus at some point, because we had him like, what was that, like 2 or 3 years ago pick that, but
yeah, something like that.
Wasn't sure.
I can't fucking talk now. I'm all flimmy. God damn, dude. The Lebowski shit. I don't even remember anything we said, but I laughed so hard. Oh, giving me the hi-hat over here. Let's see. Thing from. Oh well. That's 2023, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Because you eventually like re-uploaded everything to YouTube.
Yeah,
so
I did a massive
inaccurate.
dump on YouTube.
Yeah, we did.
I did a massive fucking Cleveland steamer on YouTube.
I appreciate how much this went off the rails.
Yeah, I have no idea when we did that.
But I was just curious if he'd ever be interested in picking something else, because that was like an out of left field like pick that I enjoyed going back to.
Yeah, it was
out.
interesting. And like I said, it was one of our most popular videos for a while too, because I guess no one talks about that movie, so why not?
Yeah, I that's one of the things I like about these selections is like having stuff that's like really outside of our wheelhouse that makes its way in like that. It's fun to talk about. But yeah, this has been Soapey's selection of Shutter Island, also known as Truths and Lies, also known as Pirate Angel Prime.
No, we've gone all the way around to Cleveland steamer. It's time to get out of here.
Yeah. What is that an anagram for? Give me some time. I'll figure out something. Have a good night, everybody.
God damn.
You need that final violent cough, and it'd be like the last thing you hear in the recording.
You just hear a thump on the ground.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.